chocolate and peanut butter, movies and popcorn, Mario and Luigi, a selection of some of history's greatest pairings, and now Harebrained Schemes looks to add another to that pantheon. Giant robots and turn-based combat. Battletech. It's not just Fire Emblem with walking tanks. It's an entry in a storied franchise with lore as deep as a Kojima announcement trailer, and who better to revitalize it than a studio founded by its original creators. Battletech is a turn-based strategy game on top of a management sim with a smattering of dialogue trees. That is to say, Battletech is XCOM. Like, very XCOM. Like, you have a base that you upgrade between missions, you click a giant play button to advance time, you have a monthly performance review, and your pilots can be injured in battle, keeping them out of the fight for days or weeks, or even be permanently killed. Very, very much XCOM. Which isn't a bad thing. XCOM is a great game, and this is just a nice, shorthand way of saying, if you like that, you're almost guaranteed to like this. Many of its flaws are shared with XCOM too. Missing high percentage shots always feels like a slight against you personally. The cinematic camera often finds the least flattering angles on the action, and unlikely hits from enemies can be hazardous to your blood pressure. Now, that's not to say it's a perfect one-to-one comparison. Most importantly, there's the mechs, which are far more complex than the fleshy things piloting them. They can carry a veritable arsenal of weapons with their own ranges, ammunition types, and heat generation, each strapped to one of the 8 discrete sections of your war machine. What this results in is an increase in tactical considerations. Do you move closer and shoot your shorter range energy weapons, or do you stay behind cover and shoot your less accurate missiles? Do you go for the stronger center torso to knock out the pilot and take down the mech, or try to knock off one of the weaker sections and disable some of its more annoying weapons? Do you fire everything for a powerful alpha strike and risk overheating, or reserve a few of your weapons in order to shoot more next turn? As it turns out, piloting mankind's most complex fighting machines adds a lot of depth to the tried and true turn-based tactics formula. Another, less flattering differentiation is how the game handles fail-states. Battletech is much less forgiving. Not only do you have to worry about injuries sustained by your pilots and the resulting recovery time, but damage to your mechs can result in the loss of weapons and equipment which need replacing and repairs that cost time and money. Now you have twice the number of things that you'll have to wait to be operational, as well as a budget to balance. Thankfully, the game comes with a robust autosave feature, creating save states before and after most events, so players unwilling to live with the consequences have recourse. The story-driven campaign is a standout in the genre. While the story of a deposed monarch fighting her way back to the throne to overthrow those who betrayed her isn't particularly original, it's well-paced and well-written. It's a sci-fi fantasy that manages to feel grounded and not too self-serious. And the developers must know this, because there is a lot of writing to chew through. Maybe even too much. While it's great the lore is treated with such reverence, parts of the game can feel like a deep dive through a wiki, instilling a desire for a few shorter, voiced scenes. That is until you experience the voice acting. Battletech has lines that would make Tommy Wiseau blush.
I leap! I soar!
Show me your war face.
I feel bad about shooting the little guys.
My internals are taking a beating.
Hey, nice wasteland we got here.
Between those lines and a few muddy visuals, you might be tempted to say this is a budget title, and while it's not a full-priced game, Battletech's campaign easily pushes 60 to 70 hours. You may see some of the same mission types and dialogue trees, but the campaign does a good job of keeping things fresh throughout by doling out new mechs and weapons and ramping up the challenge. Not to mention, there's a PvP multiplayer component as well. It's not the most robust aspect of the game, but it has some smart controls for encouraging players to use varying types of mechs, instead of just fielding the biggest, heaviest ones you can. One place the game seems to transcend whatever limitations the budget might have imposed is John Everest's score, which is incredible. Battletech is substantial, both in the depth of its lore and the breadth of its single-player campaign. It can seem like a reskinned XCOM at times, but while that's not a bad thing, it distinguishes itself with the quality of its narrative and how it expounds on the tactical gameplay. Sure, The budget might show through in a few spots, but those are overshadowed by the quality of other aspects and the sheer scale of the game. Between their adaptations of Shadowrun and Battletech, it would seem that there may be another great pairing of note: harebrained schemes and turn-based strategy games. Where you going? Where you going, little guy?
Mechs warrior. Killed in action.
What? Did he kick it in the head?